there! Welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits, coming to you from the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, California. Hey everyone, this is Liza, and we got so much to talk about. It's gonna be a good show. So I just want to get straight to who is here, and then we can talk about what we did. Joining me running the board tonight, back in the hot seat, it's Stumpy John.
What's up? MotoGP Day, everybody. Go watch racing.
Ooh. I love it when it's racing where I just see the clips of just the best parts. There was one, I don't know if this is recent, a dude had like low-sided, was just sliding, popped the bike back up with his knee and rode it out. And the announcers were like, whoa! It was awesome.
That's cool.
Somebody who definitely did not see that clip or any other racing clips, it's Miss Emma.
Why would I not see
I don't think they come across your feed, do they?
No, not really.
No, not really.
No. No, my feed
but the
is
things that do.
Yeah, my feed is a very peculiar place, but racing isn't one of them. I mean, I'm a fan.
Hey, boss.
Yes. My current obsession is Chinese gentleman who sells trucks in Beijing.
Used trucks.
Used trucks. Very good indeed.
Hey, boss, need dump truck?
It's great.
7.3 meters.
Wow.
Perfect. No, it's
not
great.
racist at all.
No, not even slightly.
No, it's Cantonese.
Anyway, meanwhile, it is simply lovely to be here. And I think I've recovered from the rally. I think.
Well, we're getting to it. Somebody who is looking good and did recover. It's Naked Jim.
Hip hop hooray.
Oh. Hey.
Thank you. What's up, wigwags? Willy wigwag woms.
And Bagel will be joining us shortly. Well, let's get right into it. Last weekend, it was the Misfits Rally.
Amazing weekend.
Y'all have fun?
Oh, incredible.
It was a good time.
Emma and I were fighting over one man.
We were.
Was it a blanket?
First off, big shout out to Matt from Breaking Away Adventures for being, the co-host of this and really doing all the heavy lifting. This was, I think, how do you say, the perfect, like everything aligned. We had rain like 3 days before, which made good dirt, but no puddles. And
one puddle.
There was
one very big puddle. We can get to that.
But there was really good dirt, and then it rained like the day after. So we had good weather throughout. 2 rattlesnake sightings in the camp. But when you get like just the location was great, everything stars aligned. There were no issues. Everything worked.
Except for the poison oak.
Well, but that just comes with it.
And a giant monitor lizard in the toilet. In the bathroom. Good Lord.
But then you add the people that show up, the ones we know and the ones we don't. And that's what makes it fun for us. Would you agree, Emma?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it was such an eclectic group of people. And we did everything. We rode dirt. We rode street. We had lots of good things to eat. We got drunk. Did all the things.
But I do want to take some credit. I think I did play the best prank.
The
lizard? Do you want to go ahead and get your prank?
I will.
All right, go ahead and brag on your prank.
I brought a life-size monitor lizard that is fake but looks quite real. And I stuck it in shower number 2 in the shower stall around the corner so you don't notice it till you're in the shower.
I nearly
that's why you were
my pants.
And I told everyone the hot water is shower number 2.
It's number 2. That's where the hot water is.
That was why you were doing that. Oh, that makes sense.
I think almost everyone got.
I got early in the morning. Good way to start the day, and I was totally got. That was a good get. It was the realest looking lizard I've ever seen.
The amount of times I saw somebody walk in and then quickly walk out.
Yep, hard no.
My favorite, though, was that the park rangers who showed up to do maintenance on the bathrooms.
Oh, gosh.
He went in there with a broom.
Started whacking it with a broom.
And he was like, I didn't think we had that species here. But yeah, he went in there armed with a broom.
I'm going to hit it with a broom.
To poke it. But it kind of set the
fearless part
stage
worker.
that everyone was having a good time. And we had rides aplenty. You were doing in the park rides with Doug, right?
I did all the rides. Yeah, I think the eclectic characters that showed up were evidenced by the eclectic motorcycle array that appeared.
Yeah.
Also, there was so many different motorcycles, to big adventure bikes, to little adventure bikes, to dirt bikes and street bikes. It was cool, but did a couple of things. We did a bunch of dirt biking in the park. I spent more time on the Tenere this time inside the park doing trails than I have in the past, which was cool. But I also did a lead ride out to the old mercury mines in New Idria,
Yeah.
out in the middle of nowhere, San
That's right.
Benito County.
You did one day of dirt riding. You did, you didn't come to my food tour.
No, I've
But-
done
and then
the
you
food
did the
tour of
adventure.
plenty, yeah. No, well, my weekend in general looked like Friday was dirt biking around. Thursday we got there. Friday was the group ride out to New Idria, which was a hoot.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, Saturday was in the park riding the 450 and more the Tenere with some great friends, which was really cool. So yeah, a bunch of us riding adventure bikes around like on the trails, which is
Yeah.
kind of fun.
John, what rides did you do?
I just stayed in the park the whole time. So, yeah, I was just down helping, did some sweeping, did some leading, and taking people out. I saw some epic crashes. But yeah.
I was surprised during the crash award contest how many crashes there actually were. That were more than I realized.
I did the street ride. I led the street ride on Friday.
What was the highlight of the food ride?
The food tour?
Yeah, well, I got a highlight.
Well, we that Mexican place was the bomb.
dude.
I
Oh,
found
that place
this
is great.
amazing.
Incredible.
I can't even describe.
Maricosos, John, is that you say it?
Mariscos.
Mariscos, yeah. Comida Mariscos.
Emma, you liked that place, didn't you?
The gas station.
Oh, that's right.
Well, it's in between what?
the funeral home and the gas station.
This is a Mexican
It is a
seafood restaurant.
Mexican seafood restaurant halfway between, well, it's part of the gas station.
It is attached.
But on the other side is a funeral home.
Mm.
And I should point out, now I've got to say that the food was great. I ordered from the child's menu. But the
Cheese
food was
quesadilla.
great. However, dear Craig,
Yeah.
his sweetie did not do well.
No, she didn't.
I think she had the shrimp funk. But anyway, but the food was bomb or so. So
She
was that
had the
part of
shrimp fondue.
Oh, yeah. Was that part of the food tour also?
That was the first stop of the food tour, and then we went to Garlic World in Gilroy, the garlic capital of the world, where Emma got ice cream.
Oh, garlic or no?
No,
Just
Plum.
she
regular.
was on her own ride.
Plum pudding.
But we got the pickled garlic cloves, and we were sharing those.
You ate those?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one.
Oh, people chowed them.
Was it
Now,
good?
hang on a sec, because Liza's trashing me for getting normal ice cream. Liza got banana gummies.
It was good.
Banana gummy ice cream?
No,
Oh, just banana
gummies. And you know what? Everyone wanted a bite of the ice cream. Everyone wanted a banana gummy
And a garlic clove.
and the garlic clove.
And then we went over to Corlita Sausage, had sausage, and then ended at Gizditch Pie Barn.
Where'd you go with the gizdage?
Where?
What did you get? What'd you go
Oh, we were all kind of sharing. I think I had a strawberry rhubarb,
Mm.
but that was a good
Yeah, it's
day. And then Emma led the street ride on Saturday, completely different ride.
Very different ride. It's about a 250-mile ride.
Yes, you came back a wee bit clammy.
Yes, exactly.
A bit
Everyone did.
weepy.
But we went as far south as King City. And then we took Highway 25 past Pinnacles, 198 to San Lucas, north to King City. Very desolate.
And these are big, sweet, like 2-lane sweepers,
Oh.
right? You can see down there, which is nice compared to the riding
It's
around here.
great.
Yeah.
And then we had a very, very nice lunch in King City.
Ooh, what'd you have in King City?
Well, there's I hesitate to call it a British pub because it's really not, but it's a pub and it's like bistro food.
Oh, okay.
And it's the funniest thing.
King City known for ranches and cows. We went to
Right,
the pub.
exactly. And they've got this bistro. And so we all pull into a parking lot just past the restaurant. Next thing I know, one of the wait staff from the restaurant is over in the parking lot telling us what a great menu they've got. So the boss who owns the restaurant said, go out to that group of bikers and get them in here. And he said, look, we'll get you in and out. We promise the food will be good, blah, 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 blah. And it was great. And then we carried on. We did one of my favorite roads, Metz Road. And I've taken you on Metz before. It's just a 2-lane road, one either way, very sweeping.
Is this up against the mountains, like wine, kind of that wine country down that way?
No, Metz Road is the one it runs by the railroad track.
Is this Dead Squirrel Road?
No, that's different. That's if you take 25 past 198 straight to that funky little road that goes out to nowhere.
Yes. No, Metz Road, it runs alongside the railroad track. There's all the little homesteads down by the track. It's great. And then that took us to Soledad. We crossed over the freeway and then picked up that road that you're thinking of. It's kind of nestled up against the mountains.
We
went all the way to Salinas, San Juan Grade Road, and back to the campsite. It was an all-day ride. Big ride. 16 riders. Everyone had a good time.
That's a big group.
It is a big group.
Yeah, the group rides were fun. We the advisory thing we did, if I could share a little bit, was it was also a big group. We had like 10 riders, maybe a couple of more. And it's a poke out there. It's a lot of just beat up, broken pavement for, I don't know, at least an hour or so. I don't know, something like that, hour and a half maybe. But you get into that San Benito ranch land, and it's kind of the San Andreas Fault. So the geology does a lot of interesting things. There's cliffs, and you're in canyons a lot, and kind of that stuff. But one of the things I loved about it, and it kind of was a big part of the event for me, at least, was all the people we went with. We had every range of riders. So we had like Brian Honeycutt and, people of that level that could ride really well. And then you had people that were a little bit newer, people kind of getting used to adventure bikes. It was a very eclectic group of people. As you get out to the gold mine, or not the gold, the Mercury mine, how I remember it is beat up ranch roads, which it is. Then you get to where there's a sign that says roads are no longer maintained, right? And that's where you're like, okay, now we're going to get into kind of where the dirt roads are, a little more beat up, and the old weird houses. But immediately it was like the most difficult 500 yards of the entire ride. So I don't know if it was the rain or something else, but as soon as we kind of got off the dirt into the more beat up dirt, it got really difficult, kind of surprising. Like it wasn't that bad if you're used to riding dirt bikes, but if you're new to it or new to big bikes, it kind of caught all of us by surprise. So we get up to the top and we make a couple of turns to go past the old weird, crazy mine looking building in the funky lake up to where the weird old houses are. And everybody got to take their helmets off and have a break. But the adrenaline rush that everybody had at that point was like, oh my God, that was so awesome. Right. But then people were like, ooh, do we keep going? Do we not? And it turned out to be, some people went back after that just because we've been riding for a while. But a bunch of us kept going back on the dirt roads back in there. And it turned out to be like a pretty cool adventure.
The thing is about New Adria, you need exactly the right bike to do it, because you need a bike with off-road capability. Mm-hmm. But it's such a jaunt out there. I mean, it's a jaunt. It's 50 miles. So you need some pretty serious
big
fuel.
Gas tank.
Yeah, you need some fuel capacity. You can't just go out there on a dirt bike.
Yeah, you do have to think about, although people did. So like Josh went out on his DRZ 400. We had was it Aaron on his little Yamaha?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whatever that was.
WR250.
WR250. Yeah, that kind of stuff. And other people on little bikes. And then we had like Corey on her big GS and Brian on his. So we had a gamut, but we had people, and Josh was on like non-DOT knobbies on his DRZ 400, just charging it. But once we got out there, it was cool because a few people were nervous about it. And to see them kind of, get over that first difficult part, right? And then to where we were hanging out in the ghost town. And then to make the decision, be like, okay, I'm going to keep going up, because it kind of goes uphill from there to these dirt roads. And we did have that rain beforehand. So there were a lot of ruts, like washouts and, not too big. Some were big, some not so much. But it was really fun to hang out with people. We actually played Frisbee for a little while, which his name, Seamus brought a Frisbee.
Of course.
He had that Aprilia adventure bike. And then we all cruised up into the hills. So there were like crazy ruts and big, huge mud puddles, like big ass ones. And we kind of got to the top. We got a little bit lost. So we were going to try to make a loop, and then we were lost. So we kind of came back down the way we came. A couple of other dudes. Oh, I can't remember their name. There was a guy that had the big chunk taken out of his neck at the end. Remember him at the...
that wasn't Kevin. Who was that?
He had a big ass chunk out of his neck. But him and his buddy are like, hey, we're going to keep going. You know, like we think we know we're going. I'm like, do you guys know how far out here you are? But they were super capable. So they kept wandering out in the middle, and they just took off into Clear Creek. And we ended up coming back. And at the end, like the exhilaration everybody felt from like we had, what's his name? Lee of the Ditch. Yeah, Lee. He was on that big Harley or whatever it was, adventure bike. He shot off into a ditch. We had some other people, have some issues, but at the end, everybody had that good adrenaline high of like, wow, like that was fun. It was a good group ride. And there was like a big haul back to camp, but it was fun. I had a lot of fun doing that.
That's the thing that I like about this is that there's so many different groups going off doing different things, that we have ADV rides. We have dirt bike, anywhere from beginners doing the easy tracks to going up and doing
double diamonds,
diamonds, and then the street rides, and then Charlie doing the challenge course this year.
Slow racing was good. John, you were with Sophia a whole bunch.
I was. She fun.
Improved a lot. She
ate it really hard the one time, though.
Well, you're dirt biking now.
Yeah, she.
Bagels joined us. Hey,
Bagel.
Bagel.
Hey, we're just recapping on the lovely Misfits Rally.
Cool. The other fun thing about the different levels of ability and the different size bikes is you could go out with like a GS adventure bike. I was out on my Tenere with littler dirt bikes because you're practicing the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're out when newer riders are more experienced, you're out doing you're not doing hard things, but you can really improve your skills doing simple things over and over and over.
Well, on Thursday, the first day, I got there and I just had a few minutes to like set up my camp. And then it was like, are you ready for the beginner dirt bike classes? I was signed up to do that. I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I had one person come, and then I start training her. And then that was Mia. She was lovely. She's been riding a week. And then another guy, Lee, showed up, and then Michelle showed up. And then next thing I know, I've got like 5-6 people.
It's the biggest class you've had. And they all showed up.
And it was awesome. And then I started taking them out on some of the easy trails and seeing them all have these aha moments where things were clicking in.
Yeah.
And that was really awesome. And we had the fire pit, and you did night bocce.
We had night bocce, was good.
Yeah,
always
fun.
Always fun, night bocce. There was a guy 40 feet up in a tree in a hammock. Hammock guy.
No joke.
That was
40
awesome.
feet up in a tree.
Yeah, it was pretty rad.
And the awards went off well. And what I love is that we make these awards ourselves. We make these little trophies out of just crap around the garage. You just have
it was an expensive
things like
chain
welded and
new.
glued and wired together. Just this is how I get rid of all the extra parts sitting around the garage. And we slap a label on it, and we kind of vote and decide and give these awards out. And some of these people were like really heartfelt.
Oh, yeah.
For being recognized.
Someone likes their award when they wear it on their head. It's on their head.
Some awards are
they
held,
like it.
So.
There was one that wasn't there a rotor that someone was wearing? It looked like
that was Emma's award.
oh, Emma's, yes.
Yeah, and I would like to say, so two new awards this year. We had the Emma's Choice and the Liza's Choice, and Emma's Choice
and Jim's Choice too.
Well, hold on, we'll get to that.
We're gonna get there, I'm sure.
It was Emma's Choice and Liza's Choice, and there were 2 trophies made that had Emma's Choice and Liza's Choice, and Emma notified me that she wanted to give her award to the same person that I wanted to give my award to. So I let her do that. And then Jim came over and said, I'm taking that trophy. I want to have a Jim's Choice, and I'm giving it to someone else. And he took my name off of it, slapped it on some other piece. And then Micah walked up to me and said, oh, Liza's Choice Award? I want that. Give it to me. So Liza had no choice. I'm just saying.
Liza's Choice was
Liza's choice was no choice.
So, in my defense, for a little bit of context, the award that I took away from Liza was a trophy that I welded up.
Yeah.
And it was rather cute. I thought it was it was a lovely heart made out of chains.
Yes, it was.
And I did compromise. I said, it can be a Liza award if you give it to the person I want you to give it to.
Again, Liza's not
But you are not able to, so I did take the award away from you. And I think it was I think I made the right decision.
Yeah.
No, it worked out. It worked out really well. Hollister is great because we get to have people go off and do different stuff. Some of the crashes, though.
Oh, man.
What,
the mud puddle of death. On the
mud is no joke. Who ate shit in the mud puddle?
Wasn't it Matt and somebody else?
Matt's always crashing in the mud.
I mean, they were just drenched from mud from head to toe. So it was one of the trail on the backside. It was an intermediate trail, not even a hard trail.
Yeah.
And you pop over. So I was sweeping.
It's that quick left, that quick kind of left, and it's right there.
Well, you kind of pop over a little hill, and then you're right into the mud puddle.
I missed that one. Okay.
Oh man! So I was sweeping. I crested the little hill, and there was two people laying in the mud right in front of me.
I remember this. Was someone else coming too? Because someone hit that same puddle, and someone was crashed in it.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And you got to make that decision: do I crash also, or do I just try to ride over my friend?
Well, Sophia punctured her side case.
I was with her on that one too. Yeah,
blows.
She didn't go down that hard. I was surprised it did that. She just hit it at the right spot. That punch.
It was an odd spot where it was too.
And Lee fell quite a few times.
Lee of the ditch. He did this classic route
on that big Harley.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't on a.
It was
Harley.
a BMW. It was a BMW.
Yeah, BMW.
It was still
the older one, right?
Chunky.
Yeah,
whatever it was.
F850.
Yeah.
I think. Or an 850 GS. Yeah.
We're going up this like switchback in New Iger. You know how it kind of goes like an S thing. So we're making that turn. He starts making that tight left hand turn and just never stopped making that left hand turn. Until the very end, and he just ended up in this big old fat ditch. It was awesome though, man. His air vest went off. Lee, if you're listening, we're not picking on you.
Your story. Tell how you were saying.
Oh my God, Lee, take this with a grain of salt if you're listening. But I'm like, we come around and there's Lee fucking bike in the ditch. And he's standing there and he had the air vest on, but that fucking air vest went off. Poof, he's all like
his arms hanging out.
But he had a great attitude the whole time. He was like,
ahoy,
matey.
Like, I'm all right. Yeah. I'm all right.
I'm good. Just takes a little while to go down.
But he looks like the little brother from A Christmas Story. I can't put my arms down, but I'm all right.
It just takes a little while to deflate. But then they were trying to wrestle it out. I'm like, dude, just hop on it and ride it out. If you just go up this ditch, there's a little, just go for it. And he did. His shit's all blown up and he's riding it out and he rode it out of the ditch. So Lee of the ditch, but his attitude was just great. He was fun to be around. But there were other crashes.
Oh, Randy went in the ditch. I had to dig him out of the ditch too. It was I don't know how he did it. He just got cross-rutted.
Like the oldest guys there were the ones that did this.
Yeah, that was he had that Triumph Scrambler. It was heavy. It was.
I had to drag it out.
Mia's dad,
he had shit. Oh, good. Yeah. Okay, well, that's kind of a nice bike to be crashing on.
How about you? What were some highlights?
I am thrilled to report that nobody crashed on the street ride. Because, I mean, if you're in the dirt, crashing's kind of fun. And, you crash on the street and it's always heavy. The weather was perfect on the street ride.
It was perfect the whole weekend.
Just fantastic. No, the whole weekend was great. I'm constantly reminded, if you enjoy motorcycling on your own, yeah, it's great, it's fun, but it's an incomplete picture when you're with friends who share this same passion of motorcycling. It's like icing on the cake, and there's nothing better than riding around with your friends. Nothing better. No, the whole weekend was wonderful. Can't wait till next year.
Who did you want to give a shout out to Lee? That's who you gave your award to.
Yeah, I mean, it's Lee knew nothing about the Misfits. He knew nothing about the Recycle Garage.
Every year we get a couple of these. Somebody just saw a flyer and shows
Randy
up.
and Mia didn't know anything about it.
And Randy and Mia, who don't know any of us,
right,
or who we are, what we do.
And I mean, really, it's a shout out to Lee, but it's a shout out to Randy and Mia as well, because it's the same deal. Knew nothing of the podcast, they knew nothing of the Recycle Garage, saw an ad for the rally.
Thought, I'm a misfit.
Sounds
You know,
good.
Yeah.
Like, who signs up for a Misfit Rally, right? That takes a special
And
kind
then-
of person.
And then you sign up for this thing, and the Misfits are a fairly eclectic bunch, and you can kind of enjoy the activities and keep yourself to yourself. And we've had people like that in the past, or you can just throw yourself into everything and become part of it.
I think, well, because I was talking to Lee, because he came early on the first day. I don't know him, but I just, like, hey, what's your name? Hi, nice to meet you. And he's like, oh, is that your CF Moto? Sure is. Key's in it. You want to try it out? He's like, really? Okay. And like everything was like that, because everyone there, not just us, but everyone is like, oh, you want to try it? Go ahead. And he didn't know a single person and was just immediately like, invited to try and experience, or to, and getting teaching and coaching and learning and guidance and just passing drinks. And he just loved that. And something that I'm proud of, that's part of the Misfits thing, is that we love to share our passion and our experiences, and not just us, but all the other Misfits there. So the ones that show up, I think, are kind of like blown away by how much generosity there is.
Right.
And welcomeness.
And it's also the biggest dirt bike demo day west of the Mississippi. Like, if you ever want to demo a dirt bike or an adventure bike, this is the thing to come to. People were trying each other's bikes all weekend long. Like Josh's Beta, people were hopping on that.
Right.
My itinerary, people were hopping on that. People were jumping on everybody else's bike. It was really fun. Yeah, if you ever think about buying a bike, just come to that.
Yeah, that was really nice. And and Randy and Mia was such a great story, because Randy saw the flyer, and I was talking to him. He was, how old would you say he is? 60s?
Yeah, definitely in his
60s,
60s.
right. Older gentleman who's been around the block, let's say. And he...
Former Special Forces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super cool dude. Well, yeah.
So he's got, I think, 3 kids, he said, and the first 2...
One of each. That's the old Rodney Dangerfield.
Weren't really interested in a biking, and his youngest, Mia, who's 25,
the rabble rouser.
he's like, hey, honey, there's this rally happening out kind of near you. You want to go? And she said, sure. And so I think he got a bike together for her, kind of taught her how to ride like a week before. And she just showed up, and he brought a camping setup that was amazing.
It was awesome.
Amazing for her.
She was in like a 15 person yurt.
It was a yurt.
By herself.
With a heater.
Yeah.
And he was in a pup tent in the back.
And he's in a pup tent out back.
All they
Like,
needed
he
were
was-
some oriental rugs for the floor, and they just sit.
He was so excited that one
he
of
was
his
in a pup
kids
tent.
was interested in doing a biking thing and trying motorcycling. So they showed up, and I was like, immediately, she was the first person in my class. So I was giving her some lessons. She pulls out a notepad, starts writing down notes, and it's like, oh, I think my dad would be interested in this. I just got to show my dad this. Hold on, let me go get my dad. And it was so cool to see them sharing a lot of stuff there, and having the same experience of both of them learning about the world and the Misfits together, but also bonding at the same time.
Yeah, they had a great weekend, and they were super cool people. Well, that's who me and Liza went toe to toe over the award for. I'm like, it's going to me and Randy because they're that awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time, and we've already announced date next year. I should have written it down.
It's April 15th.
April something like that. It's
April something or other.
Be there or be square.
And yeah, if you're at all interested, you should definitely come, because
Well, I
it's
like
a
to
good
say,
time.
there's something for everyone. You like to ride dirt, you like to ride adventure, you like to ride street. We got it.
And it's easy, right? You got warm showers, you got a bathroom,
Right.
you got Mexican seafood 10 minutes away.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
So I know it's a little ahead of schedule, because we usually read emails at the end, but I wanted to read one right now
Preach.
because this is a cool one. This comes from our friend Michael Uhlarik.
Hey, Michael.
And he says, hey guys, I started listening to your show about a year ago when I was researching for our upcoming State of the American Motorcycle Industry report. That sounds official.
Mm-hmm.
I laughed and cried at the episode, Harley has given us blue balls. As a professional in the motorcycle product planning and design industry for 25 years, it has been so refreshing to hear real, on-the-ground conversations about the real state of things. Inside the boardrooms of major manufacturers, it's a parallel universe where a bunch of overpaid insiders talk about a mythical customer that doesn't exist. It has been so frustrating to work for the big brands It's been so frustrating to work for the big brands, get hired to tell them what's going on out here, then promptly have my findings ignored. As a service to the industry, I'd love to come on the show and discuss this disconnect. Our reporting has been very popular with riders, dealers, and the younger executives, but hasn't broken through to the top. At the very least, I think it would make for a great conversation for your listeners. I've worked at Yamaha, Piaggio, BRP, Damon, Aprilia, and a bunch of other brands going way back to 1999. And these days, I help companies tailor motorcycles for the American consumer. I'm interested in that.
That's us.
It's been harder than it should be. So we decided to have him on. Michael, are you there?
Right on.
I'm here.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. We're digging ourselves out of another long Canadian winter, and today was really warm. Really warm for you in Southern California. Probably means something else.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest define really warm, Michael, because
It was in the double digits.
good Lord.
Wow. So I find this interesting. There's so much to talk about here because this is something we've been talking about ongoing. Something I've said that I think that basically the dealer structure that we know, I think is dying. And that the manufacturers need to figure out new ways to do things. Not just that, but that the dealers that do survive, they also have to figure out new ways of doing things. So let's get a little bit about your background. You say you've worked for a lot of companies. So exactly what do you do?
So I've done different things. I studied industrial design.
Mhm.
So if I have to use a formal honorific, I'm an industrial designer by trade, by training. That means the design of objects. And I did toys in Toronto. That's where I got start. I see a lot of wonderful toys around you and behind you.
I have a few.
Yeah.
And I built plastic models as a kid, and I liked working with my hands. I loved bicycles. I liked understanding how things worked. But I had this artistic side to me too. I wanted things to look beautiful. And I was very lucky, very fortunate that I grew up in a household that championed that sort of thinking. So I got my degree in ID and worked in the toy business, but I always wanted to do something more. My older brother became a car designer improbably from Canada. And so on a whim, on a lark, I applied to this crazy master's degree in vehicle design program in the UK, thinking it'll never happen. I got accepted. I went. I did my internship at Piaggio in Italy. I learned how to do clay modeling. I
was going to ask, because that's the dying art, because now everything's gone onto the computers. But when we had Darren on, it was clay and sketch and all of that.
The good news is clay is very much alive.
Is it?
But yeah. But, after that, I got hired by Yamaha when I graduated, and that was it. And since the year 2000, I had the wonderful distinction from 2000 till 2011, motorcycle designer, senior motorcycle designer, whatever, project leader. It depended on the company. Came back to Canada after a dozen years abroad, worked in Japan, worked in Europe, worked in a lot of different places. Then met a girl.
As one does.
As one does. And I came home, white picket fence, got married, had a kid, had another one, it was all great. And living in Canada outside of Bombardier, there was not a whole lot of action for this kind of work. So I transitioned to helping companies. Like I find myself, so to answer the question, what do I do? I'm in a unique position. I'm a Canadian. I speak 5 languages because of where I lived and how I grew up and immigrant parents. And it's just this weird cocktail. As a Canadian, I understand you. I understand Americans. We're neighbors. We've been together since forever. And I've traveled and lived and worked in the US. But then I'm also really fluent and understanding of the European context and the Asian, Japanese context. And so I help be that bridge. I help companies understand, what do American motorcyclists want? What works here? What doesn't work here? And most importantly, why? The why. I am really good. There are much better designers than me. There are much better business people, managers than me. But I'm really good at zeroing in on what is it that people are not saying, that they're saying through body language, through their wallets. We do, customer interviews and focus groups, and it's like they'll tell you one thing out of their mouth, but then you ask them on lunch break, so hey, where are you from? Oh, that's cool, Colorado. Yeah, what do you do? You kind of start digging into the person, and then you find out their why. Why did you buy that gold wing? Ah, I see. Oh, your buddy had a gold wing. That's interesting. And your buddy lives in Denver and you're in Magic Springs. Oh, okay. And you start piecing together the why. And then you zoom out and you zoom out. And after 6 weeks of this, you have a really good, I think we end up with a really good matrix of whether it's working with a dealer group or working with a manufacturer or working with an accessories company. What is it that you're after? And more importantly, what is it that your customer is after? Because customers will boast and talk a lot, but the truth is often pretty different from what they'll say to a marketer.
What is your average Aprilia customer looking for? Did you say you worked with Aprilia? I'm sorry. For some reason that popped in my head. Like, I'm curious because someone today said they're on a
660.
It was on that Yamaha R3.
Yeah.
And they wanted to step up to an Aprilia. It was a nice young lady wanted to step up to an Aprilia.
Aprilia owners want to be broke. That's what they want. They want all their money gone.
But I'm curious from a marketing perspective. I don't know why that popped in my head, but what does your average Aprilia owner look for?
As a longtime Aprilia super fan.
The right person.
And former employee / consultant. Aprilia is a sad story. And I've written a lot about that. Actually, the most successful article I ever wrote was called "Piaggio is Killing Aprilia." It was very popular with everyone.
Look at Bagel nodding his head. He's like, "Yep."
Yeah. Piaggio is the Grim Reaper. Everything Piaggio touches dies.
Do you see what's behind Bagel?
I do. And I love Vespa.
Yeah.
I mean, I owe Piaggio. I feel morally like they gave me an opportunity when no one else would. And I'm this dumb kid from Northern Ontario and I'm in Tuscany and they housed me. They gave me food vouchers. They taught me how to make pasta. And they also taught me how to do clay models and how to speak Italian and how to understand motorcycle development. So I owe that company a lot. I have a lot of heart and a lot of love for the community. That said, the present leadership of Piaggio need to go.
Oh, shots fired.
And their shareholders would agree with that statement.
Well,
I'm really a sad story.
I'm going to make what might be a broad statement, but I'm also in the industry, and I'm in the industry at the ground level. And you talk about upper management and lower management. The upper management of Piaggio share the same philosophy as the upper management of every other company. They do not want to make a good product. They want to create value for their shareholders.
Right.
And you need to get away from that way of thinking because that's their primary motivation. And so they don't have any incentive to keep brands alive, to really make a more than a marginally better product. It's just as long as you're creating value for the shareholder, that makes you a successful company.
Yeah, I would generally agree with that.
And there
But I
are
will-
exceptions. But
I
Harley
was gonna
Davidson's
say-
a perfect example of that.
I would say the exception I would carve out are the Japanese, which may be controversial to some, but you know, it is really hard to be successful in this industry. Like, here's something a lot of you will know, but a lot of listeners and enthusiasts don't know, because they're enthusiasts. They're too busy enjoying motorcycling, which we all love. They don't really care about how the money is made or if the bills are paid. I have to care about that. And the reality is that the profit margins, the net margins in motorcycling are like 3 to 5%.
Yeah.
Harley Davidson was a golden goose that generated 25, 30% margins for
Wow.
decades. But that was then, and that has ended. And the rest of them have to be content at the end of the year with saying 3 to 5 points. And Japanese business culture says, wow, 3% this year? Great. And what about last year? Also 3%. Great. And that's how you end up with a Toyota, which is 70 years of profit. Recessions, oil crisis,
Right.
what's that?
I love my Toyota.
And Piaggio used to be that way. Piaggio used to be this really solid, old school kind of Italian industrial enterprise. Public company, yes, but really still a family business culturally. And so there was this deep-seated, I was really impressed as a young man. I go there and, they made their own pasta in the cafeteria from scratch. So I'm coming to the factory, and part of my compensation, I got paid almost nothing, but I got apartment
Got
for
pasta.
free,
Yeah, food.
and I got 2 meals a day for free.
Yeah.
Because they had this old 1950s, 60s idea that we have to look after our workforce. They need to be well housed, well fed. They owned a preschool, and that's really cool. You hear, startups talk about that. They were doing that 40, 50 years ago. And so I come in there and you get a Piaggio card and you sign in, and, you can't help but feel the pride. And then you go down to line 1 and they're putting together a Primavera, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is this is wonderful. But then you get the Colaninos who come in, and they come in with this, as you say, very modern business approach. And business is important. I have no problem with the profit motive. I have no problem with public companies and shareholders. But, Toyota's a public company, and they make great cars and trucks. Maybe not for everyone, but it's hard to deny that they're very well made, that they treat their dealers well, they treat their suppliers very well. I learned that when a manufacturer in this business, in the Tua business, starts squeezing its suppliers, that's the tell. When they start squeezing the dealers,
Yeah.
that's the tell. And I'm sad to say that, you're right. Harley has gone down that route. A lot of the European legacy brands, KTM went that route. And we saw what happened to them.
And not just the not just the motorcycle, the vehicles, the accessories and gear,
Right.
doing the same thing.
So KTM is an interesting example, and we've talked extensively about KTM. And I actually was on the receiving end of quite a hostile interview from the American CEO of KTM, who's basically, hey, you need to watch what you say about our company. And my response was, yeah, but you guys are in trouble here, and you're hiding it. You're in real serious trouble. And then a couple of months after that interview, everything came out, and everything.
You got a dead fish in the mail?
Well, I was expecting a horse's head in
Some
the
sticky
mail,
cheese?
but it's a great example.
camshaft.
The melted
Yeah,
camshaft.
but it's a great example of how information to the consumer is not always forthcoming. because there
Yep.
were people gleefully buying KTMs thinking the company is super healthy when it's not. And that's really going to affect not only the value of your bike, but the sustainability of your bike. I don't expect anybody to stop making KTM parts, but at some stage, when a company is in as much financial trouble as KTM is right now, they're going to have to start rationalizing. They've got this huge model range, and they're going to have to say, where do we start cutting costs? And so they're going to start dropping models that people have bought brand new, expecting them to be valuable. And there's the value gone in your bike. Or they're just going to, we can't support parts for this bike anymore.
It's a sad truth that the legacy brands, which is this term we use in industry to refer to basically everyone who's not Japan or China or India.
Right.
So Europeans plus Harley Davidson. The legacies have done very poorly, generally speaking, over the long run at managing the business side. That is not a criticism of the bikes. That is not a criticism of people who love those bikes. I'm one of them. I own European motorcycles. I've owned many European, motorcycles. Again, what you love is different from discussing them as an industry, as a business. BMW nearly bailed on the motorcycle division in the early 90s because they had painted themselves into a corner where they were making incredibly expensive touring models around the K series. And the people who loved them adored them. But they couldn't get out of their box. And their box was, at that time, old men, touring on a series with matching his and her helmet and overalls and doing the European tour and police forces. And that's great, but you can't build an industrial company around that. And the car company executives were like, what are we doing? Another example would be, probably the best example is Ducati. I'm not, let's say, a Ducatista, although I do own one. I should probably go see someone about that. The company struggled and nearly went bankrupt. And then it was in Cassa Integrazione, which is an Italian version of Chapter 11. So it's alive, but kind of a zombie, and the government comes in and, regulates everything. The last time this happened was 1991, 92. They were making like 12,000 motorcycles a year. I mean, basically it was a hobby.
The reality, a lot of brands like Ducati and even Harley Davidson are technically boutique brands.
Yes, they absolutely
technically.
Well, they are, because look, I work for companies in India and Japan, and let's lay down the landscape here. Honda makes sorry, let me rephrase that.
Let's talk Atlas Honda.
Yeah.
1 in 3 motorcycles sold on Earth is a Honda.
I got one.
Let that sink in.
Yeah.
30% market capture globally, anywhere in the world.
But I worked for Honda for a long time, way back when, and Honda's master stroke, well, there's two. Soichiro Honda always said, I will make a motorcycle for everybody. And that explains some of the very, very odd Hondas, the three-wheelers, the oddities, because that is the mission of the company, and they've never lost sight of that. But the second reason, Hondas are made all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And Honda's MO is they'll scrutinize a market like Europe. What do we make in Europe? What do we sell a lot of in Europe? Well, if we look at the Flemish countries, we sell a lot of mopeds. Let's make a factory in Belgium. Very prolific factory. So they have factories all over the world. And that is why.
Yeah, that cater to that
country.
Like
Brazil.
That market.
They make bikes in Brazil.
But they've got factories all over the world.
Well, you said Atlas Honda in Pakistan that I visited, and they make 1 million bikes a year. They proudly put them out, I think, every 29 seconds.
Is it literally next to an open pit mine where they mine the ore as they make it into the bricks?
But
this is the thing that I have to tell all of the, like, so a big part of my business for the last 10, 12 years has been startups. And so you guys are in California,
Mhm.
you understand you're, just north, Canadian speaking, just north, 400 miles from you, is Silicon Valley. And
The home
it
of
has,
Atari.
and it has this
Seriously,
idea that
Atari.
they can, that they can reinvent anything.
Yeah.
And to your point about Honda, and you can. Well, the motorcycle's been around for 140 years as an invention. It's pretty polished. And the Japanese in particular, Honda and Yamaha and Suzuki, among, not to exclude Kawasaki, but they're among the Japanese, they're kind of a boutique brand. But in terms of volume, in terms of just scale, global impact, Honda, let's remember, Honda and Suzuki are car companies. And
Yeah.
car is a very, very expensive and difficult thing to make compared to a motorcycle. And then you have Yamaha, which, although it isn't a car company, makes car engines at scale for Toyota, the world's largest car company. So these guys are playing, it's an unfair battle. Like
Yeah.
they have depth of volume and depth of technical expertise and frankly finances. So whenever I would get involved, and I still am involved with startups, they would say, well, they laugh off the Japanese. Oh, we're going to totally out innovate them. I think, okay, the first rule of success in this business is humility. And understanding that Super Cub that we're all like laughing at is still being made.
Right.
45 years or whatever it is. What am I saying? 65 years later, these people really know how to put together a high quality, localized, profitable motorcycle. And here's the other kicker. They're really great fun to ride. And, I was talking earlier about Ducati. Ducati was a basket case. They had to pay suppliers cash in advance to get parts made. And it was the sink or swim, Texas Pacific Group buys it, couple of years of big publicity, a little bit of better sales, and then crash. And then again, and it was only when VW Group bought it. And they came in there with that automotive big scale mentality that you're talking about, that they came in there and they scrutinized the unsexy stuff, the back office stuff.
Well,
and now you're a Ducati dealer and you can get spare parts. I
well,
can get
the Scrambler. The Scrambler was a big deal for them.
huge.
Yeah.
Best-selling motorcycle they've ever made.
Yeah.
The best-selling model they've ever made.
More than the Monster?
Well, yeah, more than
Oh, yeah.
Monster.
Well,
More than the Monster.
the Monster was always cited as the bike that saved them. If ever you've had the misfortune to actually take apart a 90 or a 91 Ducati, they're not well-made bikes. And it's clear that the machine work's incomplete, the quality of parts isn't great. I mean, they were scrambling. These are bikes that...
Made with what they had at the time.
Exactly. Very much the same as the very late Meriden Triumphs. The kind
You
of...
were taking the words right out of my mouth.
The 79 to 83 Meriden Triumphs really were...
What's a Meriden Triumph?
A Meriden Triumph. Meriden was the factory just outside Coventry where the the old school Triumphs were made, the Bonnevilles and the Tigers, and it really...
Did they make a good Bonneville?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There's a part of my heart that will always be with the big old air-cooled Bonnevilles. They're just... My favourite's actually a Tiger. I love Tigers. Tigers are great. But they kind of... There was the strike in 74. The co-op was formed in 75. And 75, 76, 77, really quite banner years. And they sold very well in England. They sold very well in America. But it was an old-fashioned product. And then kind of 78, 79, it was tailing off and emissions were kicking in and they were having to redesign it. And then it was in its death throes. 80, 81, 82, 83.
Japan was really changing things with the performance there. And I think Triumph was one of the brands that was sticking with what they knew.
And that's when I bailed and I went to Honda, and then I spent the most time with Honda UK. because I saw what was happening with Triumph. I mean, it was not sustainable. And, I fear we're back to Harley Davidson now. Dear God, Harley Davidson are painting themselves in a corner. And we just spent last weekend with one of the execs of Harley Davidson. And it's like, oh, we got all these exciting things coming. Well, kind of show us the money, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got coming that's going to save this ailing dinosaur?
So
I wrote.
go ahead.
I wrote a piece, an article in the Globe and Mail, which is like Canada's equivalent to, I don't know, the Tribune or the New York Times, national newspaper. And I wrote a piece in the business section in 2017 saying, this is Harley's Waterloo. This is the battle that they have to win in order to stay alive. And the battle I was talking about then, this was 2-3 CEOs ago. This was, Matt Levitich, his plan, all roads to Harley Davidson. There was going to be e-bikes. There were going to be scooters. There was going to be Livewire. There was going to be a new liquid-cooled Bronx Street Fighter. There was going to be this, Pan America. And I made the point that I've been making tonight with you, which is like, this is a really cutthroat business. Cutthroat's wrong. That sounds hostile. It's a highly competitive business with really excellent, mature, and diverse competitors. And I argue this: you're going to take on the Japanese in the dual sport market and the Europeans in the roadster market, and you're going to take on the startups in the EV space, all while protecting your traditional customer. And you're going to do this and roll it out through the dealers, the same dealers who were incredibly hostile to not something as not that radical as a V-Rod, still a Harley, still a V-Twin, still made in Milwaukee. And now you're going to trot out all this new stuff. All those vehicles have to be excellent. Excellent. They have to be actually excellent as table stakes. They have to be superior in some way to their competitors. They have to be on time, on budget, and you have to get the dealers on board. And obviously that didn't work. It didn't happen. These vehicles mostly didn't get made, and Livewire's been a fiasco. They went through Jochen Zeitz, who gets a lot of flack, but I will...
Well, but I want to say Livewire, the fiasco, had little to do with the actual product, the bike.
Absolutely
and
not.
more to do with the customer and the dealership base.
I think the Livewire...
Well, they overpriced it for one.
Yeah, I'm not a Harley guy, and that's to mean like I don't personally like big heavy motorcycles of any kind. The Livewire is a bike I really like.
Yeah,
I really enjoy riding. I think it's superbly made. The range thing doesn't bother me because look, I'm 51. I've got 2 teenage daughters. Like, if I can get an hour and a half away from work, family, other responsibilities, that's great. So I'll do my 2 hours and I'll stop somewhere for a cup of coffee and come home. So that's fine. But the dealers hated it. And, I reached out to you because we were talking about the grassroots versus top down. There's something broken. You mentioned it in the warm up to the show, like with the dealer model.
Uh-huh.
When we were kids, every town had a mom and pop motorcycle shop.
And you knew the name of the guy at the parts counter.
And they knew what bike you were riding, and they rolled their eyes when that customer came in who was trying to resurrect a Sears 2-stroke that you couldn't find parts for, and all those wonderful tales. But those dealers weren't entrapped by the manufacturers. They were partners to the manufacturer.
Yeah.
And when that model changed was when they adopted this automotive idea that it'll be a branded single or maximum two brand store, and here's the floor plan, and you Mr. and Miss Dealer are going to get into debt massively every year to finance these huge amount of inventory, and you don't even get to choose what you sell, even though you know what sells in your area because you live there and have worked there your whole life. We're going to tell you You're going to take 4 of those. You're going to take 2 of those. You're going to take 16 of those. They're going to sit in your storage area. Oh, and by the way, you have to do this $2 million renovation so that it looks exactly the way we want it to look, on and on. And so inevitably, those dealers have, they got their arms tied behind their backs. They got to make their payments. And you come in off the, to privateers Harley Davidson here in my nearest city. And, they had a Livewire and they installed the DC fast charger, bring Harley Davidson and everything.
You had to.
At an event, and I went, and you could tell they were just like uncomfortable. And within a year, the charger was disconnected.
Yeah.
They put a picnic table in front of it just to.
They resented
They
that
put
a lot.
ashtrays there.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we're going to play a hypothetical here, right? Let's say bike technology hasn't moved past 1988. Okay. All right. So the bikes, it's not the technology or the bikes that's changed. The price is the same. They're still going to be selling. You're still going to be selling sport bikes and cruisers. We'd still be buying the same bikes that were there in 1988. Let's talk about everything else that has changed that has affected not just the manufacturers, but the dealers. So one would be the internet.
Yeah.
And ordering online. Because out went a lot of sales that people were making because you don't need to go down to your parts department and tell them what you need and wait for them to order it and then go back next Tuesday to see if it was in yet. You just order it. And you might get a better price off of like sportbiketires.com, Yeah. So they got a lot more competitors, even though they technically were competing with each other because they were behind that. But what else? You have rents and insurance going way up.
Well,
yep.
I am environmental costs. I mean, that's the huge one. Getting rid of batteries, getting rid of tires, getting rid of oil. I mean, I did learn a trick about gas. I don't know if we can share it here, but how you get rid of motorcycle gas at your motorcycle repair shop.
I know, I'll share it because all motorcycle shops do pretty much the same thing as me. Most motorcycle shops have big old pickup trucks with giant gas tanks, and that's where your old gas goes.
Just mix it in.
You just mix it in.
Yeah.
Because it's getting so hard. But you talk about costs. So having worked for Honda, having worked for Triumph, having worked for a lot of big major dealerships, now I run my own shop. Very, very small shop. I need to make $2,500 every month before I make a profit. So when I've made $2,501, I just made $1. And I do okay because, it's hustling. I know how to hustle.
But Emma, you're the exception because you're the single mechanic shop. And that's who's surviving. You're the cockroach of the industry right now. That's surviving.
I take offense. She
No.
is not.
No. Who survives the nuclear war?
Question.
They're the ones that are going to survive.
Okay.
But I want to go back because I was saying.
Well, but environmental costs, rent,
so
rent,
insurance is driving them out, and then for the manufacturers, the cost to transport and manufacture is going up, right?
And again, emissions, right? Because now your Honda has, and in California at least, a lot of emissions.
Well, California's not the problem right now. The Euro 4 and coming up Euro 5
yes, the Euro
is very stringent.
Yep. And if it's happening in Europe, no matter what it is, it's going to start happening here. Not a bad thing necessarily.
So Euro 5, Bharat 5, which is the India is the world's largest motorcycle market. And India has largely mirrored the European Union's policy on automobile EVAP and motor vehicle EVAP and emissions. So EU5, EU6 is coming in on 4 wheels already. The drag between 4 and 2 wheels is about 6 years. So yeah, catalyzers are expensive. Here's the bigger problem, and anyone who's a mechanic will know this about a modern motorcycle. That catalyzer, if there's a pre-catalyzer, it gets hot. Like, I mean, like a metric, so 400 degrees Celsius, whatever that is in Fahrenheit, 6 million or something. I don't know. The point is, you have to create offset space and heat shielding, and you have to have volume for that. And of course, in a car, it doesn't matter if cars are big, enclosed shape. On a motorcycle, every cubic centimeter counts for something. Ever notice how gas tanks used to be in the 80s? You could ride 400 kilometers on a tank of gas on anything, on a sport bike, a ZX-10, the world's fastest motorcycle, in 1988, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible touring range. The fuel tanks keep shrinking. And it's not because, manufacturers don't think we hate filling up 3 times a week. It's because that volume is being eaten up by air induction system and, emission systems. So costs are going up. Here's what industry doesn't like. A common complaint in the U.S. market is why are some brands like Suzuki? Why does it take them so long to refresh a model? Why don't they make new models? Why are
because
we still...
the Gixxer is that good? Thank you very much. No, sorry.
No, because that's how you make money, by having something with the older technology that
Yeah.
still sells.
It's actually much more insidious than that.
Oh my.
Oh,
So the U.S. market, although it is still the most valuable in terms of dollars,
uh-huh.
is just over 1% of the world motorcycle market. It's really a footnote in terms of volume. And it's really difficult. It's risky to bring in a new model into the US from whatever it is, doesn't matter what category, because you have a state-by-state regime.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that means, like, if I'm a company, I represent, like, hypothetically, I represent a company that's not from the United States. They want to do business in the United States. So they have to set up a U.S. legal entity. Okay, that's no big deal. Some lawyers, Delaware, done. But then it's like, okay, where are we shipping these things to? Well, California, Texas, Florida, those are the biggest states for motorcycle sales. Then you have New York, and then it starts to trickle way down after that. So let's say you target 5-6 states. You're going to keep it tight. You have at the outset, you said, tell me why would someone buy an Aprilia?
I was hoping we'd get back there. Yeah.
So I can still smell my RS 250, and those are happy memories. So unburnt 2-stroke oil is not good for us, but it's somehow so great.
I love the smell of 2-stroke in the morning.
Exactly.
Smells like second place.
Yeah. So you say you're going to target 5 or 6 states, and you set up your couple of dealers or distributors or whatnot. And now you got to keep. It's we take it for granted. Canada, the United States, we grew up here. It's big. We don't really think it's a big deal to hop in our car and drive for 6 hours to the next province. In my case, because I have a meeting there. And to anyone else, literally anywhere in the world, they'd be like, "Are you insane?"
I know.
And to us, that's just Tuesday. I gotta go to Nevada to meet this guy and get some parts. So to an outside company, this represents a complexity, a scale problem. And then there's the variability of, well, California has different rules than Texas. That has different rules than Florida. Different taxation. It's not like it's insurmountable, but it's just they're irritants, they're barriers.
It's friction.
And so Piaggio Group, which is a multi-billion-dollar company, that operates all over the world, like Honda, has factories all over the world. It wouldn't be hard for them to set up an assembly plant in the US. The trouble is, like, can you plan for 5 or 10 or 15 years to make it viable? Kawasaki Honda used to assemble big bikes in the US, and they don't anymore. And the reason wasn't a demand problem so much as an operational predictability problem. And now with the situation we have with, tariffs and counter tariffs and things of this nature, then it's just easier to say, well, look, we've already homologated that, whatever DR 650. It's already been for sale in the 49 for this many years. We don't have to jump through any regulatory hoops. As long as we can shift 3 or 4,000 of the year, throw another 3,000 in a container, drop it over there. We know that we can sell 800 Hayabusas a year in just LA County. We know we can sell 200 in Miami-Dade every year, and we don't have to update the motorcycle at all.
Right.
It's not that they're lazy, it's that they can make so much more money in other markets with new hardware. They find the United States risky.
I got a question for you. Do you guys have the Yamaha Niken up there in Canada?
We do.
Did you get it for more than 1 year?
I'd be lying if I knew
Yeah.
told you I knew the answer.
No one knows the answer
What
to
do
that.
you think that? Because I see that as a triumph for the engineers, because it's so hard to get something unique and different to get past all the bean counters to actual production. And then what you're saying now to actually get it into the United States is even harder. I'm just curious what you think when you see a bike like that come through that's just changing the game,
So it's interesting you mentioned that, because Canada has been a test market for the US 45, 50 years for the Japanese. So
Yeah.
I was a staffer at Yamaha. I grew up here. I mean, you know what you know, right? You just like, oh, look, TDM, TDR 250. It's just like, okay, that exists. Then I go to Europe and I'm like, yeah, these bikes. And they're like, and my American Yamaha colleagues are like, we don't get that. Like, really? You don't?
Yeah.
MT-01. Yeah, we got that. You didn't, I don't think, or you got it much later.
We didn't get the no, we didn't get that one.
No, you
That's the
didn't
one
get
that Mike Corbin had.
So yeah, this is what happens is you end up with to a Japanese business, boardroom. And I've been in those boardrooms. They're like, we want to test out if this model will work in the US. We'll throw 500 of them in Canada, because in their head, well, they're practically the same thing anyway, culturally. So they'll be like, well, if Canadians with their crappy weather buy 500 of these, then in Florida and Arizona and California and stuff, Texas, we should be able to shift, a few thousand. I'll tell you another funny story, and this is really inside baseball. So Yamaha's headquarters for the US for the longest time was in California. It still is until the end of this. And then they're moving to Georgia.
Yeah.
GK, the exclusive design bureau for Yamaha for 70 years, had a design office in LA, GK Design International. And then so you had Yamaha US, YMUS, Yamaha Motors Europe, YME, and these were the two super successful siblings of mom and dad Yamaha Japan. Both very important, both very economically important, both very influential. I'm living in Europe at the time, working for Yamaha Europe. The Europeans want a new VMAX. Sorry, I got that wrong. Yeah, Europeans want a Roadster. They want the MT-01.
Yeah.
California says, no, we need a new VMAX. VMAX is still in production at that point. It's like 1998, 1999, 2000. It's 20 years old, but this is that point where they're like, they just keep sending over a bunch and they keep selling.
Yeah.
There's a small niche for this like power cruiser. So there's this tug of war, and Yamaha Motors, the mothership, says, well, we got the budget to develop one, not both. So power struggle ends, Europe wins, they do the MT-01. Disaster. The bikes don't sell in Europe, they don't sell here, they don't sell anywhere. 2 years later, YMUS goes, you see, we should have done the VMAX. So they do the new VMAX, the second generation VMAX. That doesn't sell. So to your point about the Niken, like, there are great, creative, amazing engineers and designers and product planners at all the big OEMs. And to their credit, Honda, Yamaha, in Europe, I would say BMW for sure. To a much lesser extent, Triumph will sometimes roll the dice and try something weird.
Yeah.
And those are expensive experiments. But when they work, they don't necessarily make money directly. They make money indirectly. If you can break even on the weird project, but elevate the brand, you get people in the door. Suzuki Katana, the first Katana, was a sales flop, but it sold a lot of GS 1100s. People went into the dealer to look at that crazy freak, the Katana thing that they saw in the magazine, and then they go, yeah, no, that's not for me, but I'll take the GS, which is the same motorcycle but with traditional style.
Yeah.
This is a thing that big manufacturers will do. They'll sometimes roll the dice on something, but when it fails, and I've been in those meetings, it's uncomfortable for the people who push those projects.
Go ahead, Jim.
Oh, so like changing directions a little bit, because I think this has been the auto industry news lately. And Emma, I'm curious about your take on this because you have worked for motorcycle dealers before. What about a direct to consumer model?
Yes, because I wanted to talk about this because this is
Because I hear
want
you
to talk.
guys.
Where does the industry need to go to survive?
Because I hear you talking about dealerships a lot, and we talked to Phil from Cleveland Moto about, and like, yeah, you got to stock a bunch of bikes and blah blah blah. And I'm sure there's a ton of downside. And this might be blasphemous. Forgive me if it is. But what about direct to consumer stuff? Do we need dealerships?
I think that's fair, and
I just
want to say, when we say the dealerships are dying out, it's the same thing as saying horse and buggies are dying out. But guess what? They're still horses. It doesn't die out completely. But I agree. There are brands like I think CF Moto is starting to do that. You can go online and order. CSC, I think that you go and order and it comes to you. And then Verge was doing that also. So what do you think about that, Michael? Bypassing the dealership and buying direct from the manufacturer?
So, like anything, it's complicated. Me personally, in my opinion, I think the dealer plays a really important role. And I know a lot of people are really frustrated with dealerships. And I look, buying a car, and this is not a car podcast, but is one of the most I'll take a root canal over buying a new car. I hate that experience. And, for all the reasons that most people probably already understand. Motorcycle's different. It's an intimate purchase. People, especially, in North America, we're not buying motorcycles for transportation, really. We're buying it because it's recreational, it's fun. It has a transportation element, but it's touching us in some, important and emotional way. The dealer is ideally like a tailor. You walk in and they take the measure of you, and then they maybe steer. I've seen good dealers, caveat, good dealers, steer a lot of young, dumb men. And I was a young, dumb man. So I'll just, put myself in that bucket. My wife would say I'm still a young, dumb man, just with a lot of gray hair. Away from a stupid purchase. Like, hey, it's your first motorcycle? Yeah, I'm going to get an R1. No, son, you're not. Let me introduce you to my friend over here, the placid Honda CBR 500. Trust me, you will enjoy yourself. You'll come back in 2 years and you'll be interested in motorcycling, and maybe you'll just try other things. And that's the good role of the dealer. The other thing is direct to consumer. We saw this a lot in the startup world. We're going to cut out the middleman. We're going to make so much more money this way. Young consumers prefer it. That's true. Young consumers do prefer getting their Suron or Suron clone drop shipped to their parents' house, and they just take it out of the box and ride it. The trouble is, what do you do when that thing breaks? We've all had that experience. And then it's like, well, I'm online with a bot or a chat bot, or there's a 1-800 number, and the person answering the phone. They don't live where you live. They don't know anything about you or time zone even. And that's if you can get a hold of somebody. I mean, Tesla broke a lot of molds with their direct to consumer model. But, my former boss at Potential Motors, we're adults, we're not kids, bought a very expensive car from Tesla, loved it. until there was a problem with the heater core in winter in Canada, and the nearest service center was 400 miles away. And they're not coming to get your car. You have to go take it to them.
I'm gonna make a suggestion. I think what the industry needs to look at as a model, and this won't sound like a good suggestion, which you'll understand in a second. But hear me out. I think they need to look at Sears as an example. Now, yes, I know Sears is gone now, but back in the day, you had small stores, and Sears came in and was a department store that had everything, right? And that's the dealerships that are surviving now. The big dealerships, they've got everything in there.
Bass Pro Shops.
It's like, yeah, those are the ones that are surviving, these big giant ones. But then for the smaller towns that didn't have the businesses support that, you had Sears catalog stores. Do you ever remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Where you'd go in and order stuff from the catalog. They didn't have it there. And then you'd go and pick it up. It would come in.
Window. Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking at, like a hybrid like that, and that's kind of what Verge was doing. They're at the mall, and you go and you can see the bikes, and then you can tell them what you want, and then you order it, and it'll be shipped to you.
And kind of my point of my question was, we would all love dealerships to be successful and go down and talk to our parts guy and have that experience. We all want that, but we're also getting older. Like, some of our boomers might be showing. So what we're talking about, growing the industry and getting young people engaged. I'm just curious. I would love to see dealers stick around too with the guy at the parts counter and you get it serviced. But how do you 1% of global sales? I don't know. How do you keep motorcycles growing in America?
I think the challenge though is when you need warranty service or something really breaks down, there's no dealer nearby that can do that work, and small shops are going out of business too. So at what point there's just nobody to serve?
Well, and here's what has to happen in conjunction. You need a paradigm shift, right? The old model maybe doesn't work anymore. You need a paradigm shift into something different. What that is, I don't know, and it may not be better. I'm just saying that if you need to change the current model, then maybe you need a wholesale change.
I mean, here's the big question, Michael. I mean, we basically. We spend a long time saying what's wrong in the industry, and everything is very, very valid. Do you see a way forward?
I do, and I'd like to emphasize that I'm an optimist generally, and I prefer to see life through that lens. But also, I can't help it. The data, which is largely what I do, is aggregate data. Points to mostly good things. So let me go back to what you were saying a second ago about the dealer evolution and the Sears model. Everything that everyone just said is completely right. The big dealers are surviving because they have a broad range of offerings. Up here in northern latitudes, and this is true in Minnesota and Wisconsin and Washington State in the U.S. context, a motorcycle dealer will sell ATVs, side-by-sides, snowmobiles,
right. Yeah, everything.
Snowblowers, like to cover the other half of the year where no one's bought, a motorcycle. So that's one way. We do need physical dealers. We have to have somewhere you go, because even in the era of electrification, and whether you like it or not, it's not that it's coming. It is here. It is here, and is only going to expand. So, but electric vehicles still need service. Not the same way, not regular, not every year, but when something blows on an EV, it's bricked. It's now a very expensive, shopping cart that can only be pushed down a hill. So, so you need someone who's going to be comfortable with voltage and high amperage batteries and know how to, make it work again. So to answer your question, where do we go? It's a bit of I like to look at youth. I have young teenage daughters at home, and I learn a lot from them and their cohort. And when I do focus groups, I see nothing but good signs. Now, here's what I mean. They like records, like vinyl records.
Yeah, they're going back.
They're 20, 18, my daughter 13. She's like, this is cool. Have you seen this before? I'm like, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. My mom had a bunch of, Harry Belafonte LPs, I'm a Gen Xer. When CDs came out, I'm like, finally, the future is here. I'm not cleaning anything.
true.
It's small, I can push a button and it goes to the song I want. Great. These kids, they like analog. They were born in smartphones, in a smartphone and social media saturated world, and they are hungry for experiences with people face to face. They go, and it's not just they like the records. They like record shops. They like going to the record store and talking to the guy at the counter who's got a weird hairstyle. Is like, you've got to listen to this. That interaction that happens. They're online and they're in person. I would roughly make it analogous to this. The direct to consumer model is streaming. It's like having Spotify in your pocket or, whatever. It's infinite. The world can come to your house through a delivery truck. Well, isn't that grand? Many people will be happy with that. But there is an increasing market. And in motorcycling, which is, I don't care how you slice it, dangerous, uncomfortable. When it rains, you're wet. When it's cold, you freeze. You feel every bump. The most comfortable motorcycle is still not a comfortable environment compared to even the shittiest car. So all of us who decide to do this crazy thing and ride these two-wheeled vehicles, we are all of a certain type. We all want to feel something. And so I think it has to be a little bit of both. We all want that interaction. We want reassurance. So I think the dealer, we use the term dealer, but I don't think it's a dealer.
Yeah.
I think
but
with
the problem
more
is,
like European style bike shop. Like in every city in Europe, you have bike shops that are smaller than a Starbucks.
Yeah.
And they have 5 vehicles on the showroom floor, maybe 10 if they're really big. And they're whatever's kind of selling. Half of them will be consignment secondhand sales. And they've got a selection of apparel and tires, and they'll do walk-in service. And those dealers doing great. You know who's doing very poorly in Europe? And, whatever you might think, Europe is a wealthy, affluent society. These are first world G8 countries. The big dealers are suffering in Europe. It's the mom and pops that are doing well precisely for this reason. People want to have this interaction. They want to, like, Honda motorcycles don't need dealers. They don't break.
But I want to point something out.
Come in to get advice, to get a tire, to get a helmet,
But when you're saying that, like in Europe, the mom and pops are doing well, here, they're being squeezed from all different directions, and you can't control the insurance industry, and you can't control the minimum wage, and you can't control the landlord's rent. You can't control any of those things. That's what's killing. It's not just the manufacturers.
I understand. And look, this is not a politics podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not going there. But here is what happens when manufacturers, and other than one, they're all non-American. So every motorcycle other than a Harley Davidson is, and I don't count Indian anymore because I don't believe that's a company that's going to survive. Even if we do, like, you've got the vast majority of motorcycles coming into the United States are made by companies other than from outside the United States. The rest of the world, health insurance is not an employer's problem. The rest of the world, major liability insurance is probably in many cases not an employer's problem.
Yeah.
Wages are augmented in indirect ways, even here in Canada. And I'm not talking about some kind of like handout. I just mean that, like, I don't have to worry about, like, my kids' dental care, basic dental care. I don't have to worry about their health care. I just don't, it's not a thing. It doesn't exist. We need to go to a doctor. We just go. And as a result, the shop can focus on, or business can focus on business. And sort of less concern about those overheads. Not that our overheads are higher on a per dollar basis, certainly in Europe, than they would be in the US. but they're A, predictable, and B, the price of the goods sold is commensurately higher too. I pay more for the exact same thing that you buy tonight. I will pay more for up here. But my relative, what I'm trying to explain here is the relative cost. Look, the margins are more predictable, and the margins, the gap between cost and profit is smaller. That's why a lot of manufacturers just hesitate to launch product in the US.
When you were talking about sort of the dealership that we need, I thought a lot about the Apple Store in that model, where you've got certain curated accessories. You've got it's a place of community and a place of people to come together, get hands-on.
But you can order it online as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's a Genius Bar there too. So Apple seems to have
a
really
problem. You just walk up and you say, "Help me." Yeah.
And they've got that whole thing where, like, when you go to a new city, I always go, well, let me go check out the Apple Store here, what it's like. So there's that same sort of dynamic I think we need back into the motorcycle.
But I think going back to kind of what you said in your email, if you look at the average dealership owner, Emma, what's the age of the average dealership owner, would you say?
Now?
Yeah.
Or back in the day?
Now, right now. Here in the United States, that's all we're talking about. Would you say over 50?
I'd say high 50s.
Yeah, that sounds
so
right.
They're all kind of the same type, and they're somewhat resistant to change, I think. And I don't see that the industry here is really looking for the new way to do things, a better way to do things.
Well, so I'm going to throw this out there. What about Gilroy Motorcycle Center? Younger ownership, huge dealership.
But he's getting pinched from all different sides.
Yeah, he's getting.
I'm just saying, you threw out the ageism.
For sure.
And there's also younger, doesn't have to do with age, just dealerships are in this box they're in.
Yeah, but he's not doing anything outside of the box. I'm just saying, I think that there needs to be
choices.
A lot of changes. And I think it needs to start from the manufacturers creating programs. And for instance, Emma, can you go to Zero and become a certified mechanic with Zero right now?
As an independent?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I think that's something that should change.
We need two people. Someone has to hold the hook.
I mean, and we're running out of time, Michael. I think we almost need to have you back another time, because we haven't even started in on the influence that China's having.
Right.
With all, I mean, I kind of want to go down that someday, but would you be willing to come on again sometime?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this has been a really fun evening, and I need an excuse to come to sunny California.
Well, come in studio. Exactly.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Look, as on that subject, just briefly. Look, we're all old enough to remember what Made in China meant. I mean, we're not talking that long ago. Like 15 years ago, it was when I started working in 2000 at Yamaha. The EICMA show in Italy, the biggest motorcycle show in the world. You'd go there, and there was a China stand.
Yeah.
And it was the government of China paid for it. And it had 4 10x10 booths in a square. And it was just Chinese flag, and it just said China. It was Lonsen and Zongshen and one other, I can't remember.
All the shins.
Yeah. And, we all did the same thing. We looked at these bikes. They were copies of like 20-year-old Japanese motorcycles and scooters, kind of sniggered and, whatever. But I'm a student of history, and, I mean, I really read a lot, and I did even as a young man. And I'm lucky that my parents took me traveling a lot from an early age. And I knew, like, look, China's a 4,000-year-old civilization that had like a couple of hiccups that we happen to be living through. It's, I'll come back to and I'll leave with this. Humility is really important in this.
Yep.
Maybe in life, but let's just focus on motorcycles. Got to know what your limits are when you're out on the road, how fast, how far, how much you lean. And in this industry, you got to know that competition is fierce. Smart people are everywhere. And this November just passed, I was at EICMA as usual. I mean, the Chinese motorcycles are and it pains me to some extent to say this, they are by far the most compelling, the best made, and, in some cases, performatively as good or better than the Japanese stuff. Europeans are in
Oh.
serious trouble. And the Japanese are too, but they've got other assets that they can lean on. But, Japan, those 4 brands represent more than 50% of all the motorcycles sold in the world. So they've still got massive market share, but the Chinese stuff is great. And now there are 2 things we can do. We can put our hands on our heads and say, oh no, or we can say, we've seen this show. This is a rerun.
Yeah.
Remember the 60s?
Yes and no. And that's why I want to get into that. Also, I'm hoping the next time you come on, we can talk a little bit about Damon.
Sure.
Okay, good. Good. You're willing to talk about that. Because there's
on the record, no problem. I
Okay.
participated in that company for a brief period, and it's I'm a professional. I'm never gonna throw anyone under the bus, but I'll say what I can, and there's certainly a lot to say.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you for coming on. I think again, there's a lot to unpack. I'll reach out to you. Let's book another day to come on, and we can talk. Just continue this conversation and talk about also like some of the places you've worked. We didn't even ask what products or bikes you may have had a touch on that we're familiar
Or
with.
it's what's in the stable.
Exactly. So much.
And why do people buy Aprilias?
Because they're winning in MotoGP right now.
Because Italy, that's why.
Yes.
I can only speak to the Aprilia of my youth, the pre-Piaggio Aprilia, which was a wonderful place to be.
Ask Henry. He's the one who buys that kind of stuff. Well,
I'm a
thank you.
sucker for weird Italian motorcycles. I
is.
had the Laverda too once, actually for a long time, for like 12 years. And I managed to keep it running, which was the real miracle.
Yeah, if the people who buy Piaggios are the ones that want a Ducati, but they're not a douchebag.
Okay.
Shots fired.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm joking. Thank you so much for coming on, Michael. I'll reach out to you. We'll book something else, and yeah, we'll keep the conversation going.
Wonderful. You
All right.
guys have a great evening.
All right, thanks so much.
Domo
Thank you.
arigato gozaimashita.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
So we have so many emails to get to.
There's a stack over there.
I know. Well, Emma, we're going to save the product reviews that we have. Let's
All
get
right.
to some of these emails.
The win-win?
And I wanted to start with just one that's a short one because this one is a shout out. This one is from Dallas.
Hey, Dallas.
And he says, hi, everyone. I'm in town this week for work and have listened to your podcast for a few years. Heard about it from the Cleveland Moto podcast. Hey, shout out. In the shop, is the shop a place I can stop in to check out and maybe get a t-shirt? Or is it only open on Sundays thing? Either way, still going to swing by this weekend and hopefully get a picture of a sign or something to bring back to Idaho. Thanks for reading my message. So this came last week. And I did reach out to him and said, well, we're going to be at the one show, but I'll be running the garage. Come on by. Dallas did come by. And I want to give him a huge thanks because when y'all were closing out
The rally.
the
show, yeah.
I came to open the garage and I got slammed.
Bit busy.
Slammed with everyone needing help, changing tires, rebuilding a car, electrical. And nice Dallas shows up and he goes, hi, I emailed, I came to visit. I'm like, hi.
I remember him now. Yeah.
Do you know anything about carburetors? He goes, a little. I'm like, you're helping him.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even have a conversation with him the rest of the day. He just worked all day helping this one guy with a bad running DRZ 400. And I just wanted to say, Dallas, and he was so nice. He left. I go to edit the podcast and I get another message like, oh, I forgot to ask, do you have any t-shirts? And I'm like, come on back. And I went into my closet, pulled out some of my own t-shirts and gave them to him. So shout out to Dallas. What a great guy.
Else.
Came and helped.
cheers.
Thank you so much.
Very misfitty.
Bagel, you have a few there to
What?
read. You want to pick one?
I do. Let's see here. Where do we go here? Hang on.
Why don't you start with one show?
Let's see. Yes. So I have a email here about the one show, which is coming up real soon. Shoot, hang on a second. My inbox is doing something weird.
Do you need me to take this one?
Shoot, it just disappeared on me.
I'll take this one, and you can
Okay.
queue up your next one.
Go ahead.
This
Thanks.
one is from Matt, and he says,
Hey, Matt.
howdy. He says, actually, Mowdy Misfits.
Mowdy.
Matt from Milwaukee, Oregon here. Just wondering who all is heading up for the One Show next weekend. Also, I'm heading down to ride Big Sur while there's a road to ride on. I'm hoping a Sunday stop in sunny Santa Cruz is in the cards. Hope to see all of you in either both places. Matt, I am going to be coming up to the One Show next weekend and doing interviews there with Wendy Crockett as my stunt misfit. So yeah, come find me there. We will have the Misfits Lounge somewhere hidden in the eaves. And then yeah, come down and ride the one while it's still here.
What's he writing? Do we know?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, come and visit on a Sunday. We'll put you to work.
So I have one about the one show too. So this is from Roy.
Hey Roy.
Hey, Roy.
I was street racing on a stretch Busa. I was street racing a stretch Busa on my Super Hawk when the 3 deer ran out in front of me and I had to lay her down.
Oh.
In the clippings.
I wish it was that dramatic, but reality was last Wednesday I tripped while gardening, slamming me to the asphalt and breaking my hip.
Oh. Sorry to hear that.
Thursday I underwent surgery and now I have some cool new metal rods in my leg and ball joint. So my pain and suffering is some lucky individuals an opportunity to snag 2 free one show tickets for Friday, May 1st from 9 a.m. to
freebies.
noon. The only requirement is for the interested parties suck up to Liza, Emma, and the crew sufficiently to receive their endorsement. I will forward the emails with the tickets enclosed onto the winners. So I guess they could probably email us
That's cool.
here.
Yeah, so email me at motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com if you would like the Friday morning tickets to the one show. No one's claimed them yet. So
Right.
Thanks,
There you
Roy.
go.
thanks, Roy.
And don't feel bad, Roy. Every year, over 1,000 Americans are hospitalized because they fell off the toilet.
Wow.
So nowhere safe.
Do you strap in when
Nowhere
you
safe.
go there?
No, I make sure my toilet is stable.
If you've
I-
been to Emma's house, there's like some sandpaper grit painted
Oh,
onto
really?
the toilet
Oh.
seat. Yeah.
It's like,
no, it's
uh,
good grip. Very grippy.
It's like the skateboard grit.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's quite helpful.
Motorcycles and Misfits have received a new message.
Brr, 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 brr.
And actually, I'm going to do that one second. I'm going to do this one first. Hello, Misfits. This is from Erin in Bloomingdale, Indiana.
Aaron.
I just
Erin.
wanted to thank you for your recent episode that prompted me to resume searching and finally pull the trigger on a bike I have been interested in since I started riding 8 years ago.
Oh.
Despite y'all heaping the usual hate on the cosmetic issues,
Don't say it's a Kellogg.
which I actually love,
Sorry, John.
Emma's praise of the bike made me feel like
not a
I
killer.
could not go wrong giving into temptation on this beautiful mint condition 2009 in my favorite blue and white color
Oh, yeah.
pattern.
Oh.
Do you know what it is yet?
No.
Yes.
No.
Blue and white.
It's a Gladius.
Gladius.
Oh.
It was
Awesome.
$4,000 with this incredible Givi full luggage set in matching blue.
Mm.
Only has 5,000
Matching.
miles and
Wow.
is in perfect original condition. Unfortunately, even including the 2009 tires. Erin's got new ones on order. Picture of it on the trailer as the tires made riding it home impossible. Thanks again. Hope to see you in Ohio
Oh, yeah.
in July at Vintage Event.
Good
Airing in
score.
Bloomington, Indiana. This is a beautiful bike.
Yeah.
Beautiful bike.
And the luggage, that's not cheap either.
In matching blue.
In matching blue.
Nice. Jim, you got one there?
I do, and I got my glasses tonight. All right. This is we also received a new message from Michael Moran.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Michael. Hey, Misfits. I'm 68 years young and just bought a Honda XLR 150.
Yeah.
I haven't ridden since Jim graduated high school and would love, that's a while ago, and would love to have the Misfits discuss the best beginner equipment I need to have for safe and enjoyable riding. I'll only be doing the dirt and gravel roads of Detroit for the most part. So boots, gloves, jacket might be a good choice. Also, besides getting a lot of saddle time, is there any basic skills I need to develop? I still feel a bit rusty making turns, braking, accelerating. Thank you so much. You guys rock. From Michael Moran.
Would you say for that type of bike, better to get armor, not like a street jacket, but armor, and that you can wear a jersey or something over?
You know, I think for his riding, I would keep it simple. Sturdy boots. So, get some like rugged adventure boots. I think dirt bike boots might be a little much, but get rugged high
I love
boots up to
adventure
your
boots.
knees,
Yeah.
but tall ones. Obviously a helmet and gloves. And then I would just get like a comfortable jacket you can throw on, with elbow pads, with, all this stuff. But I think going the full armor route might be a little much.
Yeah.
I would say pants, use your judgment, considering it hurts when you fall down.
Or get motorcycle jeans.
Yeah, or motorcycle jeans, but get something to protect your knees because that hurts. But I would say just keep it simple, keep it cheap. Go to Cycle Gear. They got great deals on stuff at Cycle Gear.
Yeah.
And just get some cheap, but boots, gloves, helmet for sure. I would get a jacket rather than armor. And then, motorcycle pants, go with what feels good.
The reason I said the armor is because he said it's been a long time since he's ridden. Riding in the dirt, you're not going to have that same impact you do on the street or the slide on the asphalt, but you might hit a rock just falling over. And there were people at the rally who said, like Michael, who was out there, one-legged Michael.
Yeah.
He fell a bunch, and I had given him my armor that I wasn't wearing anymore. And he says, I fell on my elbows a couple times, and it did the job. Yeah. That's all I was thinking.
And it's a good point to make. I would say if protection is your priority and you don't mind taking a little bit of time to get stuff on and off, go full dirt bike gear. You don't have to get the crazy jersey like you're, going to be racing.
No, but if you get that mesh armor jacket and then you just sew a shirt on over, and that way you are going to have some little tumbles. You're going to be covered. That's my suggestion. But I think we both agree, boots, the best boots you can get.
Boots, gloves, and helmets.
That's what you really need to protect.
Yeah, boots for sure.
Great. Bagel. You have one there now?
I do. I've got emailed out the Gladius as well.
Aha.
This is from Kurt Adams.
Hey, Kurt.
Hey, Kurt.
Kurt writes, "Hi, y'all. I didn't think I would be emailing back in this soon, but my first ever bike that I bought with my own money was a Suzuki Gladius in 2015 after I graduated high school.
Were they? Yeah, okay.
Y'all wanted to hear from people who have owned a Gladius. Well, here I am. To put it simply, I loved it. Maybe it was the pride of my first ever bike that I could call my very own. Maybe it was the thought of freedom. Maybe it was the fact that my dad thought it was ugly and that made me giggle. Whatever it was, I shall forever jump to the defense of the Gladius. When I look back on those 2 years of ownership, it was the most confidence-building bike I ever owned. I grew so much as a rider. The fact that the bike was easy to ride, incredibly fun, and not too fast made it all perfect. I could be an absolute menace to society without actually getting in too much trouble. And whenever I did get into some trouble, they usually felt bad for me because I was stuck on a Gladius. As far as styling goes, I'm probably one of about 5 people that actually like how it looks.
I like how
Of course, looks are subjective. I've never understood the love for Harley styling. Even the AMF Harleys, sorry, Miss Emma. It just does nothing for me. And I totally understand when people say similar things about the Gladius. I looked positively on the boob headlight and called it the jewel in the crown.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
It always reminded me of a marquee cut diamond. Maybe I just like to look at things positively. It was one of the most predictable and reliable bikes I've ever owned, and I still think very fondly about it. It was always by my side and never let me down. The man who bought it from me gave it to his daughter, who was a similar age to me, to learn on. She still has the bike, and I see it from time to time as she still lives locally. Her collection and skill has multiplied many times over, but like me, she also can't shake the first bike love for it.
Nice.
Maybe I look back at it with rose-tinted spectacles, but I adored it then just as I adore it now. I'm out. Cool, Kurt.
Oh, thanks, Kurt.
oh, Kurt.
All right, I got one from our friend Jason at Six Bike Garage. He says, just catching up on episodes, and Liza mentioned the 3 steps to bike revival, and it's actually 4. Do you know what they are, John?
Mm-mm.
So, running, rideable,
Safe.
sellable. He forgot the sellable. So he got running, riding, safe, and then sellable. And to me, that is just fixing all the little tiny, making it look perfectly good. Just sharing a short from last week on a bike that is clearly at step 2. He shared a nice YouTube video. Thanks. And he says, we'll be looking for you all at the One Moto Show again, and also want to ask you to throw a shout out for the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride next month. Shout out to Distinguished Gentleman's Ride.
Shout out.
There you go.
Go do it.
And I will see you soon, Jason. Thank you. You got one there, John?
I do. Okay, so this is from Dave.
Hello, Dave.
In regards to motorcycle footwear conversation last
Yeah.
week, I bought a pair of awesome black all-leather custom boots from Gasolina at gasolinaboots.com.
Gasolina.
I put these on and they were comfortable from the get-go. They are a wider boot, plus they are all leather inside and out. The sole is replaceable. Not cheap, but a good boot. It is for a good boot, it's worth it. Dave. Thanks,
Ooh.
Dave. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Go check them out.
Emma, you got another?
I've got another one here. It's very, very short. It's from Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Larry. Cuba. Larry says, if you can't bring a dead cycle back to life, what do you do with it? Do you have a salvage yard that will take it? Thanks for your help. And he continues, it's a vintage 83 Honda 250 Custom with a belt drive. So the predecessor for the Rebel.
Right. So my advice, and when I've had like bikes donated and I wasn't going to use them, I just put it up for free on Craigslist, and the Jawas will show up.
They will come get it.
You know, and I've often been faced with problems at the shop of bikes that are simply not repairable.
Yeah.
And the owners say, look, I don't want anything to do with this. I've got no paperwork. And in any town, there is always scrap metal guys that come around. You see them in there, you know, the trucks with the high sides, and it's scrap metal. And I'm lucky because I'm right next door to a plumber, and he's always got tons of dead water heaters. So the scrap metal guy comes over regularly, and I'll just flag him down. I'll say, hey, do you want that?
Bring
And they're
out
like,
your dead.
Bring out your dead. And we just pick it up, throw it in the back of his truck, and I know that it's going to get crushed, chopped. I don't have to worry about some Yahoo riding it down the street. I know it's just going to get broken up.
They'll get recycled.
And I want to say that I don't take doing that to a motorcycle lightly. It's really got to be
Basket case. Yeah.
beyond repair.
Well, we used to have the Dirtbag Challenge, and that's where all those bikes went.
Oh, yeah.
No, I still believe in putting it out there for free because somebody's going to turn it into some like Hayabusa trike or something.
Or
like
parts bike.
You know, just a thing. There are people who like to tinker and use the parts.
Free is a compelling price.
Exactly.
Ain't
Put it for
nothing
free, then let the Jawas take it away. All right, Bagel, I think you have one last one.
I do. Short and sweet from Keith D.
Hey, Keith!
Says, I just finished listening to your podcast and it was great. I enjoyed all the bike information you gave. I wish you all the best and I'll be a regular listener.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Woohoo!
I have two scooters, a 2003 Honda Silverwing and 2006 Vespa GTS 250. And it was so good to hear info on scooters too.
Nice.
Right on.
Thank
Well,
you.
cheers, Keith.
That's a
We
nice
aim
twofer.
aim to please.
We actually saved another scooter today, Bagel.
Did you?
Yeah,
What'd you
we had a gentleman come, a nice young man for the first time on another Honda Elite
Look like
250.
an elite, yeah.
Elite
Jackson.
250. Jackson. And the thing was scary.
Oh, wow. Scary compared to yours.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
it had a clogged jet, so it kept stalling, so he just turned the idle up enough.
Well, his buddy had just said the best cure for a bike that won't idle, just turn the idle up.
And
I mean,
Was that the young man?
logically,
so it was always wanting to go because it was so high that it wouldn't.
Oh, it'll go.
And the rear brakes were gone. So
Oh,
it
no.
only had the
You
front
don't need
brake.
them anyway.
And so when you use the front brake, it would just shudder and shake because you're pushing and stopping at the same time.
Oh, right.
And
Not the ABS.
with Emma's help, he pulled that carb
Was that-
out, got it clean.
Yeah, that
and-
young man got a carb clinic today, didn't
yeah.
Well, he
Good,
did,
good.
and he did everything, and boy, we got that thing idling just great.
Nice.
So he's going to buy himself some braking shoes,
Very
and
good.
Should be good.
yeah, and he'll come back next week. You know, it's always a problem with the scooters, and it's the same in Vespa world, that in order to do rear brake work or rear tire work, you've got to pull the exhaust, which is usually a
Yeah.
pain in the ass, but
Yeah.
we'll get through it.
Sounds
Well, there you go. We made it to the end of another episode. I just feel, I know it's like been 2 hours, but I could have kept talking with Michael about the industry. I mean,
Well, you know, I mean, we really need. I very much enjoyed our conversation with Michael, and he's very, very knowledgeable gentleman. But I think when we get him back on, we really need to touch on what we feel are solutions to this, because it's very, very easy for everyone to say, oh, you know, everything's crap, everything's terrible. So what is the solution going to be? And in truth, I think it's going to be many solutions, but
do you feel like the manufacturers are making the right bikes?
I really don't know.
Well, talking to
Mm.
Michael, the bigger issue is the manufacturers really don't give a shit. If the American market is 1% of motorcycle sales, like,
Well, but
I'm sure there's nuances in there. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, I mean, there are nuances.
But I'd love to
and-
know what percentage of high end motorcycle sales it is.
Right, and
True.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
that's-
your
Yeah.
150,
exactly, and the
so-
American market is still quite prestigious.
Yeah.
You know, if you sell well in America, it's something to brag about still for all manufacturers. But you know, manufacturers trying to sell motorcycles to mythical customers is nothing new.
Mhm.
I've talked about it in the past. Triumph back in the day was always trying to sell bikes to young executives who had no interest in motorcycles at all. They all bought Rovers and Jaguars.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, you go to any greasy biker pub and there were tons of Triumphs parked outside. Figure that out.
Emma, just curious, just pick a number off the top of your head, but what would you say the average price of a motorcycle in the U.S. is?
Probably, what, including the little ones?
The average price of a
Street bikes.
motorcycle sold, street bikes, we're probably looking at like, what, 15 grand maybe?
I'm gonna
No,
say like
not that
nine.
high.
No.
Under
No?
10. 10 or under.
Probably like
I
9.
was going to
10?
go. I was going to go 9 because
Yeah.
you've got all the little ones that are well under 10, and the big ones that are
Go to
sometimes
30,
well over
40.
13, 14. So about
just
10.
comparing, I said that Atlas Honda sells like 1 million units a year,
Mhm.
but their average retail price is $1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't.
Yeah. So we are
Big-
talking about two completely
Yes.
different things when you're talking about profit and units and all of that. When they're saying 1%. Is it the dollar amount or is it the unit sold? I'm curious. So yeah, a lot more to unpack with him. Thanks for Michael, for reaching out and coming on. And let's hear from you guys. What do you think the industry needs to do to kind of survive?
Oh, don't even think beyond that. I mean, everyone who listens to our podcast has an interest in motorcycling. It's a motorcycle podcast. So what would you like? If I could wave Emma's magic wand and make the experience of buying or servicing or just owning a motorcycle easier, and be realistic about it. Don't write in and say, I want my motorcycle serviced for free for the rest of its life, because clearly that's not sustainable. But what would you really like to see? Would you like to see dealerships more approachable? Would you like to see dealerships with more stock, with less stock? Would you like to see...
I want to see out the door pricing.
Right?
I want to see cheap, like less fancy features, like cars.
That's the whole
like
podcast.
cars.
But we want to know from listeners. Send us an email. Let us know what you think.
What do you want now?
Tell us what you want. What you really, really want.
I wanna.
Where do they send that, Emma?
They are going to send that to...
That blank stare. motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com.
I was going to say that. Now, as far as the podcast goes and the garage in general, Liza has got quite the regimen of traveling.
Yeah.
Going on throughout the summer. So, we are not going to miss a single week of podcasts. Some may be pre-recorded, some may be coming from out in the field. So,
and I've been re-editing some of our past favorite episodes.
So, dear listener, do not fret. Your Monday morning commute will be complete with your Motorcycle and Misfits podcast. However, next week, you, of course, will be at the one show in Oregon. Who's running the garage?
You are.
Which means that everybody has to do exactly what I say.
God help us all.
Yes,
or she will gaze at you with her monocle.
That's right,
under the
Johnny.
Stare of the monocle.
So send us an email, and you can also reach out to us through our website at motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com. Shirts are coming really soon, so those are going to be getting shipped out soon, but you can still go and order one. Just go to motorcyclesandmisfits.com and click on shop. Thank you, everyone, especially our Patreon subscribers,
who are the finest examples of humanity.
Exactly. And, I realize a lot of our attendees at the rally are some of our Patreon subscribers. They support us in every way. We love you guys.
Are you doing a giveaway at the one show? Like whisper something?
Liza's giving away herself.
Oh.
I'm probably going to go get bananas.
Okay,
we'll have the night bananas to give. Exactly.
Slip them to the guards, if you know what I'm saying. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, give the guards a night banana.
Slip it to them.
All right, time to get out of here. Thank you, everyone. This is Liza.
Stubby John.
Emma, darling.
Make it Jim, son.
Bagel.
And we are out of here.
Cool.